Alright guys, I am going to try to make this video as short as possible. Bear with me. I'm going to cruise through it. Don't mind me. I'm tired. I'm a week removed from the Monroe house. I investigated with Gwendolyn and her sister. Let's get to it. Before I talk about that investigation, I got to go back. There are reasons why I'm going back when I first investigated the house. So it was a place I always wanted to go to. 2017. It was August. We went to film the Paranormal Journey to the Unknown. Gavin Polly gets there. Gavin, he comes, he's starting to unload, starting to set cameras up, all that crap. I grab a camera because I'm going to film B-roll, get that out of the way. Everybody had their own job. So, grab a camera, grab batteries, or grab the battery, go. Long story short, every single battery, and Gavin told me that they were all charged, died. At one point, there was an error with the SD card. So we switched out the SD card, and then it was the battery again. So the batteries kept draining, don't know why, very odd. But we had talked about a nightmare scenario. And I had said, a nightmare scenario at a haunted location. And I had said my nightmare scenario would be to go to a haunted location and lose footage. Ever since I said that, every time I go to the house, I lose footage. We had an interesting night. It was fun. I kind of expected a little more, but it is what it is. I wasn't disappointed. Anyhow, the following year in March, I go back, and I'm with two friends of mine that I've investigated like twice a year, I believe. We get together and we all investigate, you know, and hang out. I've known these guys for a long time. The way these guys investigate is very different than anybody else. I know a lot of groups like, oh, we do things the scientific way. No, you don't. You don't. Sorry. I know that's not going to be a nice thing to say, but you don't. These guys have equipment that you just would not use at a investigation. And I've never ever seen any team use the equipment that they use. They use equipment that measures static pressure, static in the air, the atmosphere within a certain range. The way they measure temperature is completely different. They have devices that measure different type of gases that could be in a house. There's a lot to it. Anyhow, one of our friends, he has a speech impediment, and there's a name that he will say. It's a friend of his. He can never say it right, and we do give him a hard time about it. We're just poking fun at him. We're not trying to be mean. Hell, he makes fun of himself. Anyways, the name came through, and what it was he was talking about this friend, and we were like, he's a liar. You know, just joking on. His friend wasn't lying about anything. We were just joking around. So anyways, the name comes through, and then we hear, he's a liar, which was funny. We laughed. I don't know. Weird. That night, let's see, my keys kept moving all over the place. Found them in the basement on the stairs, found them in the kitchen, found them in the bathroom, found them on the floor. Nobody's messing with my keys. I don't know. Just weird. We got EVPs. It was fun. I go back with them a few months later. Same scenario, except it had this calm aggression feeling to it. I know that doesn't make sense, but that's how it felt. So we're up in the Ouija board room. We're doing an EVP. No, we're doing a spirit box session. Anyhow, we were asked to take the spirit box and put it out just outside of the door of the Ouija board room. Now, a lot of people are like, why would you do that? Why would you do what a spirit tells you to do? Well, we're trying to communicate, and the further away your equipment is, the better chances you are of actually capturing something. You know, just like us, when we're talking to people, we want our space. They want their space too. So, we did that. Now, it did ask us to do other things, but that's when we put our foot down. When you're investigating and a spirit asks you to do something, it's okay to do it. But when they start asking more from you, put your foot down. Because they will continue to ask and ask and ask and ask just to see if you will do whatever it wants. It could be a trap. So anyhow, that investigation was very bizarre. It was a lot of fun, but it definitely had a different vibe. Then again, go back a few months later, investigate with them. That whole thing was weird because it had like this aggression, like this calm aggression. It was just bizarre. Pretty much the same things had happened, but we did get an EVP where I asked and my buddy asked, and it was the same voice, same response. I don't know who you are. So it's like, is that something new? Like, is there something new there with what's going on? We also kept getting, I was summoned, or I was invited. So, I don't know. I know that a previous tenant did some dark stuff there. So, I don't know if this thing was actually summoned or not. The problem is that spirits have free will. They will lie to you. They will mess with you. They'll pretty much do whatever the hell they want. So, anyhow, that was just weird. November 2018, Eric and I went back. The same two guys that I investigated with, they went back to the house, and they told me that they captured my first and last name. They wanted to know who all these people were. One of them was Eric. Like, who's Eric Hunter? Like, who is this dude? They don't do YouTube. They stay away from like YouTube and stuff like that. They have no desire to watch YouTube or even have a channel. So they didn't know who Eric Hunter was. They asked, who's Gwendolyn? Do you know these people? Like, you know, you've been here a few times. Who are these people? Some of the people, I had no idea who some of these people were, but the two names, I did, Eric and Gwendolyn. I thought, that's interesting. Let's go. Now, Eddie also confirmed that my name, Eric's name, and Gwendolyn's name, well, he wasn't sure about Gwendolyn, so I can't say her, have been coming through, and people have been letting him hear our names being called out. So Eric and I went. It was a really weird calm. It was just so bizarre. We got EVPs. We had a few other things happen. It was a lot of fun. Investigating with Eric is a blast. I ended up capturing something mimicking Gwendolyn's voice, which was weird. I was actually shocked. But anyhow, I had the house for 2 days. Eric had to leave early. He was going to meet up with Alex in Alabama. I went out to eat. I come back to the house. Eric had left early that morning. I got like 45 minutes of sleep, and I was woke up to banging. At first, I thought somebody was trying to get in the house. I thought maybe it was Eric. Then I realized it was coming from up over my head. By the time I got off the couch to the door that leads to the stairways upstairs, it was gone. I went up there to go check out what the hell it was. Nothing. I have no clue. I didn't find anything. So I went, took a piss, went to go back downstairs, and out of the corner of my eye, I had seen something. I had turned my head towards the Ouija board room down the short little hallway, and for like a half a second, and I know what I seen. I saw the back of Gwendolyn go into that room, followed by the smell of cucumber melon lotion. I was like, do I really want to go in there and check that out? Well, hell yeah. So I went to go downstairs to grab more of my gear. I wanted to film, do an EVP session, you know, see what was going on. I got downstairs and greeted to the smell of some nasty sulfur and just like rotting meat or something. It was bad. It was so bad that there was no way I was going to make it back upstairs to freaking puke. I ended up going outside. I tried to go as far back into the yard as I could and just puked there. A few minutes later, I went back inside the house. The smell was there. It was not as strong. It was very faint. The house felt super aggressive. I walked out of the house, got into my car. It was freezing outside, and I called a buddy of mine, and a buddy of mine was like, dude, you need to leave. Like, just leave. I ended up leaving, which pisses me off to this day, but my left eye was just bloodshot red. It was really bad. I somehow managed to make it home on 45 minutes, if that, of sleep. 8-hour drive. Now we go into this investigation with Gwendolyn and Margaret. We caught a lot of cool stuff. EVPs, disembodied voices. We were setting up DVR cameras, and we set one up in the basement. The thing is that you know, they're cords, and there's a door. There's actually 2 doors that you got to go through to get to where the basement is. Well, we left those doors open. We don't want them closed because if they close, they could mess up the cords. When we come back up from the basement, and the damn door is shut. Okay, I open the door back up. We start setting cameras up elsewhere. We come back, the door's shut. I believe it was 3 times that it happened. The following day, we were taking pictures, just kind of having fun, and we heard a slamming sound. I thought, what the hell? You know, and we both looked over at Margaret. And we're like, what was that? And Margaret's like, it sounded like it came from outside. Now, that door that I was talking about in the kitchen slammed shut. I don't know. I honestly tried to capture it on video, but it never happened when the camera was on it. One of the things that I noticed about the Monroe house is that my mind already goes 1,000 miles an hour. When I'm at the Monroe house, it goes 2,000 miles an hour. Very hard to concentrate. The past few times I was there, if I go into the Ouija board room and I'm trying to film, I shut the door. Because it always feels like there's something right outside that door trying to mess with me, trying to get my attention, not allowing me to focus. So I'll shut the door, and I'll even play music, because we have gotten EVPs where they're like, play music. Okay, so I play music. I'm going to play what I like, not what they like. But I don't know. The house just has my mind extremely busy. It's like, and it also feels like there's a lot of traffic in that house. It's so weird. So anyhow, I had already told Gwendolyn I was going to do this experiment where I was going to get under her skin and piss her off. I wanted to see how the house was going to react to that. Problem was, I told her that I was going to do it on the last night, but I ended up doing it on the first night. Because I knew if she knew it was coming and when, it wouldn't be as effective. So I did it the day before, which she ultimately ended up figuring out, but the house reacted to it. It actually sounded like things were rolling down the stairs when all of that happened. Or no, maybe it was shortly after it happened. It was really weird. Even positive things, the house reacted negatively to it. It was bizarre. But anyhow, here's a couple of things that I do need to point out about what was filmed and kind of what went on. So at some point during the investigation, Gwendolyn talked about, well, you know, we provoked. We didn't actually provoke at all. That didn't happen. There are people out there who, this mostly falls on the side of the Christian belief. Asking a question or even just being there, they consider provoking. And I can see that to a certain extent. You don't mean to challenge, but you are challenging something, to knock, to respond. In some way, you are sort of challenging something. So I can understand that part. So a lot of people believe that is provoking. Other people don't believe it's provoking. They think provoking is being very hostile, being very rude. But I can see both sides of that. And to a certain extent, I'll be honest, we sort of are provoking, but in more of a polite way. I'm not really sure how to explain that one. But anyways, yeah, so she did say, you know, while we were provoking, there was no provoking. Now, before that investigation, I think it was the second time I went with Jay and Cody, they had mentioned something about a Bible and it being opened to a certain page that had something, what was it, like battle or something to do with destroying enemies or something like that. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was on, but whoever did that, that's provoking. That's also provocation. That's kind of dangerous, but at the same time, thank you. So anyhow, let's see. There are certain numbers that you need to pay attention to, especially during the Ouija board session. I don't want to give too much away. I ended up playing Psalms, so pay attention to that, and then pay attention to the Ouija board session later. I'm going to try to make that video as short as possible and get to the point. The first half of the video, it may kind of drag because there's a lot of things to read, and I'm trying to put together a story. I hate my voice, so I am not doing voiceover. But anyhow, I'll have that up as soon as I can. It's going to take some time. There's a lot to go through. There's a lot of things that I need to look at. I'm also just found out that for whatever reason, one of Gwendolyn's cameras, the audio is not synced up with the video. I don't know why that is. Something happened. The other camera's fine. All the other cameras are fine. But one of the cameras Gwen was using, the audio is just way off on the video. So I probably won't use that. Anyhow, guys, I have gone on way too long at this point. Almost 20 minutes. There's some other things going on as well. I got another investigation coming up. That's another long-ass drive. And I'll be there a couple days. And then after that, I got nothing going on. The end of October, I will be in Orange Beach, Alabama for the CryptoCon. That's it for the rest of the year. I need a break. I'm tired. I've done a lot of traveling. There's a lot of other things that have been going on. I don't know what's going to happen in 2020. There's a lot of other things going on, and I kind of have to, I'm not sure if I can put myself on a schedule to go to places because I don't know what's going to happen. And it's nothing bad, but I'm just going to have to play it by ear, I guess. Anyhow, guys, I'm going to shut up now. Thank you guys for the love, the support. You know I love you guys. You know the Epic family, the Spectral Wolf Pack family. You guys kick ass. Best family on YouTube. No joke. I mean that. So, that's it, guys. Later.